online. Once you see, your active armors, your overdrives, your active camos, you make it a manageable game. You get those abilities first. You have a great chance to win a lot of uplink.
Like we saw for the first 4 months of the year or so, LG weren't contenders.
No, and I think Saints' performance is a big reason why this team has seen a lot of success over the last few months. It'll be a kill there from Formal. It'll be a defensive stand from Luminosity. It's nice. If you were LG right now, if you're in their comms, look, let's just get a 1-point play here. They get a 2-point game going into half number 2.
Octane doing everything he can. Needs a little bit of support finally. As he goes vertical, several players waiting, and a stand from Optic Gaming there to push back the forces of Luminosity. With 10 seconds on the clock in the first half, does not appear any more points will be coming through as no one in a position to make a play. 5-2, Optic Gaming. They are 5 minutes away from sweeping LG and heading to a grand final.
You see Formal there, all smiles. Everything's going smooth here for Optic Gaming. And I think, look, this is a series where I was actually extremely worried for Optic coming into it, right? I thought Luminosity, they've been on a tear through the loser bracket.
Everybody was. I mean, all the casters, all the analysis thought this was a...
I think when you go up stakes, they're going to take advantage of it. They're not just going to try and outsell you, to make you think a little bit more. So I think you're seeing Optic playing much better in this type of matchup.
Saints trying to hold lobby. Him and Slack getting it done. Saints now going to push out and find the kill. There's one more defender to beat right now. I believe that's Formal trying to play defense. He does get the first onto Slack. Backs up Saints as well. So Formal as that lone man doing a good job trying to help Optic Gaming come off a spawn. Crimsic, the member that does come off, is able to find 2. Him and Formal combine to clear out basically the entire push, and that resets it.
Yeah, Formal with the NV4 in the back. I mean, that is why that push stalls out there for LG. Nobody can get close to tagging him up. And you see Crim and Scump fly in. Okay, Barney red in hand. They're able to clean up everybody else.
Well, now maybe a chance on offense here for Optic. You only have 2 players up. Scump and Formal might be enough to do it. They take out 2, but Drone is already towards the LG base. They'll be able to wrap it, toss it out for reset if they like. You opt to wrap because you have no pressure towards mid-map. That'd be an easy pickup from Optic Gaming. So they're going to take it all the way down towards Cherry Blossom. It's Formal trying to pick off the reinforcements in the back. As his teammates drop, he's going to know what's up. Nice shots there. Going to challenge the next. My God, somebody's feeling confident right now. But the streak will end at 6. Formal now out to 21 and 14. But as the drone resets, no points will be coming in from either side. And all those kills really did was make sure Luminosity couldn't make a play.
Slack going to miss a lot of shots to the NV4, finally able to connect. But LG, they're winning some engagements here towards the middle of the map, so they're getting drone control. It's just a second wave. This is where all their pushes have stalled out here in the second half. Just, they have the drone right in a good area over here on that top side of the map. It's just these kills. Now they're not able to get that first initial pick at range, then flood on in.
Well, I think what's scary is, you haven't even got that path statue. Like, you haven't had one setup even at the block that you tried to push towards. There's been, basically no offense so far on this side from Luminosity, and the clock is on Optic's side. Yeah, play a slow game. I don't care if any more points go through if I'm an Optic player. We'll stall this out, but as I say that, they've got a chance for points. Scump looking to dish out the window. Doesn't want 1. He wants 2. 7-2. Optic Gaming.
Scump jumps out the front window. As Karma right underneath him, they're able to pick up that kill, put in a 2-point score. Luminosity needs to go big here in the final 2 minutes, but Optic now with drone control yet again.
Formal just killed all 4, and then Karma killed him.
Formal has played fantastic here in the uplink, an interception there for LG. So let's see, this is where they need to make a play. They need to get a score on this push.
The push developing down towards Cherry Blossom. Octane, overdrive to work with. Good job by Crimsic staying alive, but you are able to pick off Karma. 3v3 now on the push. Nice grenade, nice shots. The trophy, though, able to at least keep people alive for another day. And there's another defensive stand. I know it's not really LG in an aggressive position per se to put points on the board, but winning them at Cherry Blossom, it allows for 1, quick counterattacks. And 2, you just don't even allow a position for a 1-point toss from Luminosity.
Yeah, you needed a score there on that push, I think, if you're Luminosity. Even if it was a 1, put a little pressure on Optic, but Optic has just held on so strong. And See there, Octane trying his best, picks up 2, pops the overdrive, trying to get by Scump. Optic holding serve here on defense, just 1 minute away from closing out this series.
And if Optic make it back, it's looking like it. How familiar is this? Just 2 weeks ago in our Stage 2 playoffs, the $500,000 tournament leading into champs, Envy waiting in the final. Optic got there through losers and then had to beat Envy in 2 best-of-5s. It's a very familiar feeling, but this isn't a Stage 2 playoff. This is COD champs, and it is a very different story. But Crimsix add an insult to injury.
That was the dagger.
And if you're Formal, you talked about the fact he hasn't won a champs and he has to come up big. He's 35-19, and there's a dunk to seal it. LG made a valiant run through the losers bracket, but the run, it ends here in your losers bracket final. Optic Gaming is moving on for the rematch with Team Envious. Matt, I have no damn idea who's going to take this. This should make for one of the greatest finals all time, and you've got 2 members on this Optic team again that have won a champs, 2 that have not, Formal and Scump. So much pressure on them to perform, and if you're Envy, you won it last year. Yeah, there's pressure because it's champs, but it is not the same magnitude.
Envy, a much different team, though, than the team that Optic Gaming beat at the Stage 2 playoffs. You remember back to that tournament, Envy, they were not getting anything going in the respawn game. It was extremely poor. They were getting by the search and destroys and really some insane performances from Slasher. Today, though, a whole different Envy. This weekend, a different Envy. You're getting Apathy back, MVP John back, JCat making big plays. It's going to be a hell of a match.
Familiar territory to what we saw at Stage 2 playoffs. In the losers bracket, Optic had to go through LG. They 3-0'd them there. They 3-0 them here. And once again, it's Envy waiting in the grand final. Benson, boys, break it down.
Thank you very much, Maven. Benson in the studio, joined by my wonderful panel. As always, of course, World Champ Teak, ConXP Champ Merc, and then, of course, now for just the 3rd time all year, the team that has lost, of course, in the winners bracket final has made it into the grand final. It's no easy thing to do, Teak, but to be honest, Optic Gaming made that look easy.
Yeah, they just proved me wrong. I thought LG was going to put up a better showing in that one. Optic, though, Formal taking over, especially in that last map. Very, very impressive to say the least, and another rematch of that winter final. Man, I think Optic's looking a little bit different this time around.
Just a little bit. Formal has definitely found that MVP strike. I hate to sound like Maven. I do. I know Maven always preaches about it, but to be honest, Bryce, what can you say about this man? He is just that good.
When you're snapping as clean as he is, and he's just able to pick up everything, plus his team's doing a really good job of baiting out for him. You can't just see like either Scump or Crimsix flying out in front. Formal's just able to pick up 1 or 2 really, really cleanly, and probably the best example of an
pretty much as quickly as you could
time. You know, even in the series that they lost on Scorch, he was kind of like carrying them. And they lost, and going into this hard point, he's had that same stat line. Now I don't know if he's going to be able to keep this up in the grand final. If he does, Optic Gaming, they're a team to be really, he seems to be in his element. You know, he's in his own little zone, he's picking up those kills, and you know what, they made that first map look easy.
The story of this tournament has really just been the role players, right? Obviously coming into this one, Crim, Karma, they played very poorly versus Team Envious. Right here, Classic plays well, Octane does okay, but Saints and Slack, those are the 2 guys who, when you typically talk about matchups, they're the guys who sort of turn the odds in Luminosity's in their favor. Right. I mean, those are the 2. If they step up, they're very hard to stop. just not a great performance from those guys.
A 1.86 from Formal. That is
oh my god,
pretty ridiculous stat line for him, that's for sure. But looking at that map number 1 team, it felt very much to me, and I'm curious to get your opinion on this, that LG may have just ran out of steam. They went into losers bracket round 1. You've got to make that big run. They're playing more games than anyone else here. That to me just looked like they were deflated.
If that match was yesterday, I might agree with that sentiment. But you've only played one game today. That you got to be ready to go. They had a rest after beating Rise, making it to that sort of scenario. The fact that's no excuse at this point. I feel like coming out flat in a series like that, they know what's on the line. They know what Optic Gaming they're going to play, especially after a tough loss like that. Optic Gaming looked pissed, and they wanted to take it out on LG. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah, it definitely is. We'll talk a little bit now, of course, about map number 2, the Search and Destroy. This one, again, goes in Optic Gaming's favor, and I feel like, to be honest, Bryce, this was the one map that you would expect Optic Gaming to take. LG's Search and Destroy has been very shaky.
Yeah, I think so, realistically, and there was a little glimmer of hope there. I thought Classic had a very good start, when he picked out the ace, but it didn't really ever kind of feel like they were going to take that S&D. I thought for a lot of the time, Optic Gaming were just in the better position to sort of make a massive play there when he actually ended up taking down Classics, which again allowed Formal to make his plays. He managed to back off and just played it smart. How often do we
during the day, and he just couldn't carry it through?
Yeah, it's difficult to watch, especially kind of this in the later stages of this tournament. I actually had the pleasure of casting him before against Rise. He started slow on both hardpoint 0 and 4. Coming into this one, he was picking it up in those, but again, he 4-1 down. It's very hard to come back. They're very, very hungry. And once again, Formal, what was it? First map 1.86, second map 1.67.
I think he wants a ring, Phil.
I think he wants a ring, a check, a trophy.
MVP award.
MVP.
Another check, for the MVP award.
He wants it all.
Situations they were able to clutch up, and that reminded me of Stage 2 playoffs. That was sort of the key to them winning that tournament, was that clutch factor. All 4 players playing extremely well. It's a very good sign if you're an Optic fan.
It definitely is. I mean, what a way to bounce back, of course. Then we go over to map number 3, the uplink, and this is when I kind of looked over you and Joe, and I was like, this isn't going to be good, is it? And you're like, probably not for LG. Team Optic Gaming again in uplink. They found that kind of flow. Crim6 as well had a good start.
I think that's sort of sequence of plays where Karma stayed alive for so long at that balcony portal, and then Formal was just kind of looking over him. The fact that those two guys were able to stay alive so long, it just seemed like LG could never get that comfortable wrap back to the base. Karma was able to get that sick pass over the building. I really wanted to highlight that play. I'm glad we caught that on the replay. The fact that they coordinated that throw over from that little construction area to get that dunk, just next level plays coming in. From Optic Gaming, just great baiting overall from the rest of the team to get Formal, a massive amount of kills.
I think realistically, when you look at this map, this is almost LG saying, yeah, we're not really going to go any further in this tournament, are we? And I actually ended up they are just going to power through. Luminosity pretty much did nothing for me to go, yeah, they're going to turn this around now. They didn't look in control. They weren't able to kind of control the Optic powerhouse. And then Formal again, so crisp, so clean.
Yeah, that's amazing to me. Every time Luminosity finally got drone control, that first push towards the Optic Gaming base was just shut down, either by Scump or Formal. They just did a really great job of not allowing Luminosity to set up any sort of spawn traps.
God.
Again, when you look at this...
Does that say 1.85?
It does. But again, when you look at that series...
What?
Saint Slash just did not have good games.
He had 39 deaths in the series.
It's pretty good.
That's like a pub stat for a whole series.
Plus 33.
At this stage in the tournament, your KD, you expect it to sort of level out a bit nearer towards 1. His is going up. That was a loser final at COD Champs, and it's going up, his KD.
Is this going to be a record? It's got to be a record, right?
I would bet.
I'm sure like there are higher KDs in tournaments, but those obviously kind of tend to drop off towards the end.
Is there? He just put a 1.85 on LG.
I'm sure, is there ever been a stat line where a team in the grand final, running up to the grand final, has had a KD that high?
I just want to put a stat out there. Formal was first coming into today at a hard point, 1.72. He was first in uplink at a 1.48. However, he wasn't first with only a 1.5 on search and destroy.
Just a 1.5.
I mean,
Formal.
come on,
step up.
That's silly.
Step up. I mean, to your point, Bryce, I think the only time that I could think of where that would be the case was probably 2014 with the Complexity Squad, when you guys just steamrolled through. But I mean, what was the highest one there?
I think Pat and Krim had like a 1.35, not let alone like a 1. What does he have right now overall? Like a 1.6, something like that.
It's going to be high. It's definitely going to be very, very high. But I mean, you would almost imagine it's impossible to lose a tournament when you have a player getting that many kills. But of course, we'll wait and see. The stage has now well and truly been set for our grand final. It's a rematch of the Winners Bracket Final. We've seen this matchup for so many times throughout Call of Duty esports history. Optic Gaming versus Team Envious. Now, if you are new to competitive Call of Duty, it is important to note that Optic Gaming, if they want to be your 2017 CWL champions, must defeat Team Envious in 2 best-of-5s, simply because Team Envious, of course, they have not lost yet here in our championship bracket. And I guess that's the question. That is the question. Joe, can Optic Gaming beat Team Envious twice with Apathy and John playing on that MVP-like form?
Well, it was Apathy and Slasher, and those were the two that really just dominated. They controlled the series, but can they do it? Can Optic do it? Absolutely. We saw them do it at Stage 2 playoffs. If you're Envy, I feel like the first series, you have to make it go as long as possible. Try to drag it out to a Game 5. If they allow Optic to 3-0 very, very quickly, like we just saw them do versus Luminosity, you get very nervous as an NB fan. I mean, if you're an NB, of course you want to close on the first one, but if they can't make it a long one, try to go the stretch.
Definitely. Of course, it's worth reiterating what is on the line here on Championship Sunday. Their share of $1.5 million. So much money. First place, $600,000. Second place, $200,000. So no pressure. It's only a $400,000 disparity between first and second there. So that's $100,000 per player. That's the difference. That is so much money. And obviously, I know Teak, Momo, and Merc were on the desk earlier on when I said, you know, you look at this series head-to-head. Optic Gaming previously was 8-1 versus Envy. Now, of course, 8